Former Deputy Troy Buswell was elected Liberal leader this morning after weeks of turmoil within party ranks. But his election was tinged with sadness because of the sudden death of Murdoch MP Trevor Sprigg. It was meant to be the day that resolved internal dissension over the WA Liberal Party's leadership. But MPs arriving at Parliament House were unaware that their whip, Trevor Sprigg, had collapsed at home after a massive heart attack. Deputy Leader Troy Buswell was one of the first to arrive, still deflecting questions about his ambitions.
If I'm requested to fill certain roles, then I will accept the determination of the party room.
A former leader was having a bit each way about Mr Buswell.
I think he's a bit green, but I've got a lot of time for Troy. I think he's a person that has a lot to offer West Australian public life.
Declared challenger Rob Johnson was reticent. How do you think it'll go?
I'm not going to make any comment until after the party meeting.
Tourism spokeswoman Katie Hodson-Thomas, who was critical of Mr Buswell earlier this week, had a surprise.
I wish to announce that at the next state election I will be retiring.
She said it was a personal decision. The meeting was delayed as MPs waited for Mr Sprigg, who'd rushed back from the Gold Coast last night. Then party spokesman Ray Halligan emerged with the result.
The leader of the Parliamentary Liberal Party of Western Australia is Troy Buswell.
Paul Omadej had moved for a spill, but declined to contest himself, and Mr Buswell beat Rob Johnson. Dawesville MP Kim Hames beat Steve Thomas from Capel for the deputy's job. The sombre Paul Omadej acknowledged his failings.
But the most important thing that I'm disappointed about is that I have failed those little people out there in Western Australia, the people that come from ordinary backgrounds like me.
Troy Buswell listed his priorities.
The first is to be an effective opposition and hold Alan Carpenter and his failing government to account.
Both paid tribute to Trevor Sprigg, Mr Buswell saying he was a great team man.
And I know that what Trevor would want us to do is to pull our socks out, pull our socks up, and at the sounding of the siren, get out there, fight the good fight and play the good game.
Losing your job bears no comparison to losing a friend forever.
Trevor Sprigg was elected to Parliament in the seat of Murdoch at the last state election. But it was for his football prowess, both here and in Tasmania, that he was best known.
Trevor Sprigg's death has left members of WA's football community in shock.
What a very sad day it is for the state, for football in particular, and for the Sprigg family.
At East Fremantle Oval, the flag was at half-mast. Mr Sprigg started his football career at the Sharks as a teenager in 1965. He went on to play more than 150 games, was made a life member and most recently the patron of the club.
He's been involved in our club and knows the fabric of all the people involved and all those sort of things, so he'll be sadly missed by an awful lot of people. A highly respected sort of bloke, but sadly missed.
In 1971, he moved to Tasmania to be the captain-coach of the Glenorchy club. He stayed for 5 successful seasons. When he returned to WA, he took up roles in the media, including working for the ABC.
Well, thanks very much, Trevor. A very competitive game of football here in the qualifying final.
He was chairman of selectors for the West Coast Eagles in their 1992 premiership season.
He was never adverse to making a suggestion, and I think that was one of his qualities. He always said what he thought, sometimes probably spoke before he thought, but he was a wonderful guy and did a great job for our club.
Mr Sprigg was also involved in the formation of the Fremantle Football Club. He is survived by his wife Lynn and their 5 children. Joanna Manar, ABC News.
Peter, Trevor Sprigg's death sudden death has had a huge impact on his Liberal colleagues. Do you think that today's events are going to motivate them to come together?
Well, Alicia, there's a better chance after today's bloodletting. Some MPs are still disaffected, but Mr Sprigg's sudden death might jolt them into the reality that their main task in being MPs is to take the fight up to Labor and to win the next election. So to do that, they've got to fall in behind the new leadership.
And what about Mr Sprigg's seat of Murdoch? What's going to happen there, Peter?
Well, the government will have to call a by-election within the next few months. It's a safe seat for the Liberal Party. They'll be seeking a quality candidate for it. And also, as far as Mr Buswell's concerned, he'll be hoping for a strong swing, a strong anti-government swing in the seat to not only boost his prospects, but also with the prospects of the party at the next election.
Peter Kennedy at Parliament House, thank you.